Hi, my name is James Shepard, and in this video, I'm going to talk to you about the #1 reason why salespeople cannot close deals. And I really think it might surprise you, and especially in lieu of all of my other content. So one of the things that's really important to understand is that whenever you're making sales training or any kind of sales videos like what I do, you have to understand that you're talking to two completely different audiences. There's the 20% of salespeople that make 80% of the sales, they make 80% of the money. There's that group. Then there's the 80% of the salespeople who are not being successful. They're not making very much money. They're trying to survive. And so it's really difficult when you make sales training because, which group are you talking to? They both need very different things. And of course, in my case, I realize that you're all watching my videos. So for those of you that are in the top 20%, you're making all the money, you're doing all these great things. For you, I try to put out a lot of good content about how to sell better, how to improve your closing rate, how to overcome objections and things like that. But then I also try to spend some time on those of you that are in the 80%. And of course, you kind of go back and forth, right? Some of you have had a slump, you've had things like that happen. Well, this video is clearly for the 80%. If you are a top-level sales rep, you can watch this video. It may become useful to you at some point in the future. But I'm talking to those of you that you're having a difficult time closing deals. There is a huge reason that I see for that. Now, certainly learning how to sell better is important and all that. But there's an even bigger reason for that. A lot of people can't close deals for two simple reasons. #1, it's because they don't have anybody who's interested. They just don't have anybody who's interested, and I'll explain why in just a second. Or the people who are interested are turned off by their desperation. So why is this happening? Well, it's happening because of bad prospecting strategies, okay? And bad prospecting discipline. So let me give you an idea of kind of how this goes. So the first thing that happens is what I talked about in the last video, which is, you got your 20 prospects, you close 3. We know you closed at about 12.5%, so you're done. You closed everybody, you're gonna close out of those 20, but you just keep calling those 17 over and over and over again. Well, they're not interested. You're not selling them. They're not going to buy. So what happens to you? Well, what happens is you start to feel discouraged and depressed. What's going on? Last week I closed 3 deals. This week I haven't closed any. I don't understand why. I'm going after the same group of 20 people. I closed 3 of them last week. Why can't I close 3 more? Right? Because mathematically it's impossible. You close at 12.5%, you close 12.5%, you're done. Right? So that's what happens. Well, then this really vicious cycle kicks in. So you're like, oh man, I didn't close any deals this week. I got to go home and tell my spouse I didn't make any money, which means I can't pay the electric bill, which means the mortgage is going to be late. Boy, I really have to make some sales next week. Woo! Next week is like, I got to make sales next week. I'm just desperate. So what do you do next week? You go back through those same 17 again, but this time with much more desperation. Now it's clear to everybody that you're broke, that you're terrible, that you suck, that you have no self-confidence, and you've got to get a sale. How successful do you think you're going to be? Well, guess what? Goose egg. You're not going to make any sales, so you get more desperate. And now you're like, wait a second. Maybe I need to go prospecting again more, and you finally figure it out. The problem is now you go on prospecting with this desperation all over your face, and now nobody's interested when you go prospecting. So what happens is salespeople a lot of times will lose their self-confidence and they'll be like, oh, I just can't close because, something's going on. My pitch needs help. I need to read another sales book. I need to take some time to think. Now we're going back to earlier videos. You're thinking instead of prospecting. You're questioning your pitch. You're questioning your methods. You're questioning what your sales manager told you. And so all these problems come in because and only because you stopped prospecting. If you would just keep prospecting, keep your pipeline full, and you always know you have more people coming up, and those 20 that you had, you sold 3, the other 17, you're like, put them into your drip marketing campaign or just get rid of them. You're going to go to the next 20. So for some of you, you really need to think about on a weekly basis, cleaning everything out. All right, I got 14 people I didn't sell. I have 3 that I did sell. Good. Those 14 are dead to me. They're on. Let's start a new batch, right? And then every week you're going to have those fresh prospects, okay? Now again, is that the perfect method? No, because people you talk to on Friday, you might not sell till Monday or Tuesday, right? So like I talked about in the last couple videos, you really need more of a rolling system where you're like, once they're 7 days old, they're out of my system, or once they're 2 weeks old, they're out of my system. But the key point I'm making here is that the reason you're not closing deals for many of you that are watching this is not because you're not good at sales. It's because of 2 things. Again, #1, you're not talking to people who are interested because you have a group of people that you prospected and you already closed all the interested people or at least all the people that your sales ability will allow you to close, and now you're done. So now you got to get a new group of people. The other reason is you go to get that new group of people, but because you were spinning your wheels before, your self-confidence is in the gutter, your desperation is really apparent on your face, and you're walking in trying to sell somebody and you're desperate. So now even the people who are interested are not buying. What's the solution? The solution is really simple. It's a two-step process, okay? Step number one is embrace reality, okay? Embrace reality. So recognize, oh, James, you know what? You're right. That's exactly what happened to me. Okay, so what does that mean for you, right? That means your electric bill is going to be late this month. You're just going to have to deal with that late fee. You know, you're going to have to talk to your spouse. Hey, you know what, honey? They're going to turn the water off today. Sorry about that. It's like, you know, it is what it is. I can't fix it. I made a mistake. I was stupid. I didn't make the sales I needed to make. Like, you know, we're going to be broke for a week. Whatever it is, right? Like, embrace reality. Deal with it. Deal with whatever the fallout's going to be, okay? Then go prospecting. Not with desperation, but with a full embrace of, I'm not desperate. I know I'm screwed. I know I'm not going to make any money for a week. That's just the way it is because I was stupid and I didn't go prospecting to get new people in the pipeline. But you've got to embrace that reality, and then you've got to go prospecting without that desperation and saying, I've got the self-confidence. I've got this. I know I can make sales. It's just I only talked to 5 new people last week. Obviously, I only made 1 sale because I only talked to 5 new people. So look at the number of new people you talked to in the last 7 days, and those are the people you probably are going to sell. And so if you're focused on, well, yeah, but you don't understand, James, I've got these 3 people and they just keep putting me off, they keep putting me off, and you're so focused on them, you know, like, why aren't they buying? I offered them savings, I offered to do this, I offered to do that. Stop focusing on them. You're like, people call me all the time, like, what do I do? I had this person, I offered them all these savings and they won't buy from me. And they're like, what can you tell me, James, that's going to help me to close this person? Nothing. Like, get rid of them. Go sell somebody else. They're not interested. Well, yeah, but James, they should be. I mean, I'm saving them $1,000 a year. I'm saving them $500 a month. So they're not interested. Go prospect. Get somebody else. You got to fill the pipeline up again. And if you don't, you're going to become desperate. And when you become desperate, you can't close. Hopefully, these tips were helpful to you today. My name is James Shepard. Have an awesome day.